Today we are presenting on Corona Extra and the coronavirus. I'm Taylor.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Alexa.
So what is Corona Extra? So Corona Extra is a light, refreshing beer, originally from Germany, but when they came to Mexico in 1926, Guadalupe decided to brew the drink. Originally they had it to put in dark barrels to restore life for it, but they went against it because they wanted to have a clear, transparent kind of look to it, and it ended up sticking all along. So today, Corona is the fifth most consumer beer in 150 countries and second fastest exported beer, right behind South Korea. So, the SWOT analysis for Corona Extra. They're the largest alcohol product in Mexico. They're a market leader for the beer industry. They have strong campaigns and brand imagery that is nationally known and internationally known. However, they have some weaknesses. They lack U.S. partners. Their brand was destroyed from the public stupidity, and they have some skyrocketed distribution costs when it comes to their product. So some opportunities from this is they can be restored from great PR and brand loyalty. They can find themselves merging with other companies after this coronavirus concludes. They could branch outside the industry if they wanted to. However, again, they have some major threats, like they have increased government regulations on the industry as a whole. Beer is not really marketable for every consumer because it's not really healthy, and there's also a really underlying underage demographic that's in the market for every consumer. There's some major competitors like Budweiser, White Claw, Hard Coors, that constantly combat with Corona Extra. So what is coronavirus? It's a common virus that affects humans, typically in the upper respiratory infection area. The virus can spread by coughing, sneezing, coming in close contact, touching a surface that has the virus on it. The virus usually stays in the body for like 14 days at most. It's characterized by a runny nose, a sore throat, not feeling too well, a really vigorous cough, a really high fever, and as of April 25th, 2020, 197,578 deaths have occurred. However, 796,300 people have survived from this virus. So the stakeholders or principal players in this, as of right now, are their Ashmore, Bosch, InBev, SANV, which is their main distributor. Grupo Modelo, which is their brewing company. The 38% of Americans that won't drink Corona beer because they fear that it has coronavirus is inside of Corona beer, which is not true, which Taylor will explain later, but is conducted from a survey from a New York firm called Dwyer. And then lastly, the media. The media plays a big role because they put in out articles that contain both of the company and the virus, and also a lot of the social media aspect is into this case. So why was PR needed? Image management, brand management. Corona Extra's brand was becoming more and more tarnished as the more fake news was coming out with articles saying that it has it. Their image was becoming more destroyed.
The timeline of key PR events. So the first event on our timeline is the spread of the coronavirus, because without this, this whole issue doesn't come about. So the virus, as far as we know, started in China and then spread rapidly throughout the world, causing fear among millions and millions of people. A response to fear sometimes tends to be to make a joke. So next on our timeline are the memes that began to circulate the internet on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. And a lot of these memes related the coronavirus to Corona beer directly. Some of the memes had other beers in the fridge with masks on next to Corona. Some of them said what goes best with coronavirus, Lyme disease, and others had a picture of the Corona Extra bottle and said, "Ever wonder what Extra stands for?" Next, Google saw a spike in searches relating coronavirus to Corona beer. So over the course of a few days, they saw Corona beer virus, beer coronavirus searches spike, showing that people were really confused about what was going on and whether or not they were going to get the coronavirus from drinking a Corona beer. Then some surveys were conducted by some third-party outlets, and the first survey did not disclose how many people they polled, but their results showed that 16% of people were confused about the connection between the virus and the beer. And then a second survey polled 737 beer drinkers, and 38% of them said they would no longer drink or purchase Corona going forward. Then after the surveys, stocks fell. Constellation brand stocks, they own Corona. Their stock fell 9% in 2 days because people began rapidly selling their stocks in fear of what was going to happen with their money because of the correlation between the virus and the beer. Then finally, the CEO of Constellation Brands makes a statement, and his statement read, "Our thoughts and prayers go out to those affected by this terrible virus, and we hope efforts to more fully contain it gain traction soon. We've seen no impact to our people, families, or operations, and our business continues to perform well." This statement came after their stocks fell 9%, so it ultimately proved untrue. Then Corona launched a $40 million hard seltzer campaign on Twitter, and it was met with some serious backlash from the public. The campaign featured their 4 new flavors of hard seltzer in the sand on the beach, and it said "coming ashore soon," much like the virus itself. The research conducted was not conducted by Corona, but instead by third-party outlets. The current research numbers showed that 737 beer drinkers polled, 38% of them would not drink or purchase Corona. And of an undisclosed amount of people, 16% were confused about whether or not they would get coronavirus from drinking Corona beers. The objectives in this case are to get consumers to disassociate Corona beer and coronavirus, and to get in the media for positive reasons. So the current problem that Corona is facing is that people think they're going to get sick if they consume this beer. So Corona wants to do anything they can to assure people that the coronavirus is not in their beers and they cannot get it from drinking one. Then times like this, times of crisis, times of disaster, whatever it may be, they're a good time to get into the media for positive reasons. And many other beer companies during times of disaster have done CSR to raise brand awareness and to make themselves look good. And this would be a good time for Corona to do that also. The strategies and tactics that Corona used or should have been aware of are strategic inaction. They have done very little aside from that statement by the CEO. The vocal commiseration strategy was used when the CEO made his statement. He did offer condolences to people affected by the virus. The news media tactics, situational crisis communication theory, indirect effects theory, and media uses and gratification theory are all theories that Corona should have been aware of during this campaign. What to do next? Corona should conduct their own surveys going forward as a method of evaluation by posting polls on their own social media accounts like Instagram and Twitter. They will be able to gauge the severity of the issues with their fans and their followers. and they need to watch the stock market. Going forward with the world in crisis right now, the economy is going to tank, and watching the stock market and watching Constellation stocks, whether they rise or fall, will determine the extent of the damage for Corona going forward.
So the Corona campaign was set for failure from the start. Corona used social media as its main tactic to spread awareness for their new hard seltzer product. Shortly after the announcement post, the Twitter storm began. Twitter users responded with negative tweets criticizing the bad timing and weird phrasing used on their flyer. The PR team overlooked the influence of meme culture on social media. By March, TikTok reported more than 390,000 videos using the song It's Corona Time, all while making fun of Corona beer. According to Fox News, 38% of Americans say they will not buy Corona beer or drink Corona in public due to the speculation that it's tied to coronavirus. With this situation, what could be done is a CSR. Corona, by doing this, will be helping people during this difficult time, all while maximizing the value of their company, its employees, stakeholders, and shareholders. Corona already sells apparel, so what they could do is they could use their fabric to make masks and gowns and donate it to hospitals with high COVID-19 cases and cities with high homeless rates. For example, Bacardi, the alcoholic beverage company, has stepped up, and they've been making hand sanitizers, and their goal is to make over $250,000 to donate to local organizations and emergency workers. In conclusion, Corona Extra lacked social sensitivity, did not do their market research, and did not understand their target audience before announcing their hard seltzer product. Corona could have avoided all this criticism if they did a media audit and focus on clarifying that there is no link between Corona beer and coronavirus.
So we have some discussion questions. So first being, how do you think Corona Extra handled the controversy?
The second question is, what other call to actions should Corona Extra take?
The third question is, are you still going to drink Corona after the virus concludes or right now?
And lastly, how can Corona get their consumers back?